Welcome to the Mind Your Business podcast, episode number 13. Today, we're talking all about creating your morning routine. So, stay tuned. Hi, I'm James Wedmore, and I've built a 7-figure internet business that offers the financial freedom to do what I want, when I want. And I'm the first to say that hard work and hustle are not essential ingredients for your success. So, how do you build a thriving business from the inside out? This is the Mind Your Business podcast, featuring myself and co-host Phoebe Mroczek. Phoebe, I have the perfect morning routine.
Do you, James? Let's hear it.
I really don't. But I think this is all the rage now. All the cool kids and cats are talking about their morning routine. And so we thought we'd jump on the bandwagon and talk a little bit about this topic, but I want to kind of put a little different spin on it because I think people are trying to hack the perfect morning routine. And they're very curious about what is everybody else doing to make their perfect morning routine. And I want to challenge you that, first of all, it is great to have a morning routine. And I think that's all you need. That it's really not as important as what you include on your plate for that routine, but really just the fact that you have one and that you're very intentional with it and very consistent. So we're going to talk about some of the routines I've done, but I'll be honest with you, like I change it up all the time, but they all follow the same theme because I don't really like doing the same thing every day. And I think it's okay if you don't either, but I do create that space that allows me the opportunity to start my day right. Your morning routine is about putting you first. It's not just about what most people do. And there was a time in my life that I did this where you just like the alarm clock goes off. I haven't used an alarm clock in a long time, but you know, the hypothetical alarm clock goes off, you roll out of bed and you just open up the laptop or grab the phone and just start going. And we want to stop that. Yeah, so like that's really good idea. No.
Well, I was gonna say, you don't wake up to an alarm clock?
No. Do you? Okay, you guys can't hear her, but she's nodding her head right now.
Yes, I would not wake up if I didn't have an
I think the number one reason is I'm actually going to bed a lot sooner now. So I try to go to bed at like 9:30, between 9:30 and 10:30. So it's usually around 10 o'clock. So 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So like I won't have my first appointment. This is something we'll get into, but I won't have my first call or anything. Like everyone on my team knows, do not book anything before 10 a.m. So like try to wake up naturally between 6 and 7 and like at the latest like 7:30, depending on.
That's amazing. I didn't even know people really did that.
It's amazing. There is stuff you can do to like actually naturally have yourself wake up at the time you want yourself. It's just like setting an intention, but we're not going to get into that today. I actually want to try that as an experiment. Like tell myself, wake up tomorrow at this time and see what happens. I've done that before. I went to an event, a leadership conference, and like got hypnotized from stage where they like a hypnotist came up there. It was crazy.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe I'll try that tonight and we'll see if I make it back.
Hypnotize
into
yourself.
The office
There's
tomorrow.
my pendulum over there and you can go hypnotize yourself. So, okay. So we're talking about morning routine. And again, I think it begins with mindfulness and setting that intention that you create that space every day. So we will talk about like, we kind of want to create this buffet for you of making your own morning routine based on things that you want. I don't want people to approach this like, oh, I need a morning routine. So I'm going to do these 3 or 4 things that I don't want to do at all because so-and-so said they do them. So I got to do them too. So here's where it starts with. You want to ask yourself the question, how do you want to feel throughout your day? And like, don't be selfish here. How do you want to feel? Like, what is, people ask the question, like, what is your perfect day? I don't know how to answer that, by the way. When people ask me, what does your perfect ideal day look like? I'm like, which one?
Right. I have about 12 that
yeah. And so, but like, what if you could just ask yourself, even just in the morning, it can be different every day. Like, how do you want to feel throughout your day? What feels good to you? And like, for me, what shows up is like joy, peace, powerful, productive, and grateful. And so the goal is, can you try and feel this throughout your morning routine? Can you try and set the day off right by inviting those emotions into this time that you've created for yourself, even if it's only 15 minutes a day? Like, I don't want to hear a single comment from anybody making an excuse like, I don't have time for a morning routine, because you're lying to yourself. I'm a little harsher, by the way. We've listened to other podcasts and other topics on some of the things that we're talking about, and people are so much nicer than I am.
You just get right to the point. Well, but I understand, because there are people 100 times busier than any of us. And
there are super busy people.
Right. And they make time for it. Tony Robbins is a great example, who has the hour, he does that whole thing.
Hour of power.
Yeah, the hour of power. Like, that's just not an excuse. So,
I mean, like, because it could be as simple as 15 minutes. 15 minutes. I think we can all do that. It's not like I have a 3-hour, which someone I heard told me they used to have a 3-hour morning routine.
That someone is me. He's looking right at me because right before this, I was talking about how a couple months ago I had a routine that got a little out of hand, and it turned into a 3-hour.
I think you just didn't want to start your day.
I mean, it was just so enjoyable. It turned into 6 hours some days.
Oh,
and then
my goodness. And then it was like, oh, time for bed.
Exactly.
What a great day.
Well, it's about 2:00. Time to start the day.
That's not what we're trying to do here. So sometimes we don't lead by example.
Not all the time.
We just reined it in a little bit. So I want to go through, again, like some of my morning routines. Again, it's about creating a little bit of space. And if it means waking up 15 minutes earlier, do it. So I want to talk about first about my weirdest morning routine.
This is going to be good.
Here's and no one can, like, 1% of people are going to be able to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do that.
I'm like, please, everyone listening, give him some good comments for this one.
So one of my morning routines that I've absolutely loved recently is I get in my golf cart, my 1958 3-wheel golf cart, and we live in a private community, and I just drive it around the block in circles and listen to audio tapes and on YouTube. And that's it. That's my morning routine.
I'm just shaking my head. I don't even know what to say to that.
But the thing is, like, oh, I don't have a golf cart, so I can't do a morning. That's not what we're saying here. But that, first of all, I love the golf cart, and it's really fun for me. And it's early in the morning, so like the sun's just coming up. It's really quiet. It's nice to be outside, and there's this like ocean view on the horizon, and I'm just like cruising around on this, like, it's electric. It's quiet and it's smooth, and like the wind's in your hair, and you're just sitting there relaxing. You got your headphones in, and I'm just like listening to an audio, and it's me saying, I'm going to take 20-30 minutes. It's kind of sad I'm driving around circles for 30.
That's a long
That's
time.
why I'm driving around circles, because it's a small community, and like you can only go so far for so long before you're like, I gotta just run around in circles now.
Now you're like the crazy neighbor that everybody knows.
Actually, I had people tell me that I have the best golf cart in our community. I'm really proud about that.
Maybe we should have a whole episode about that.
How to
win at communities.
Okay, but I try and meditate actually at least twice a day. And so meditation makes it into my morning routines. I don't meditate while I'm on my golf cart. I do that separately. But meditation for me is a mainstay. It's a staple. It's essential. And, I've done all kinds of different meditations, and great piece of advice I heard, and we'll do other episodes on meditation, but like sometimes I just don't want to meditate. And if I can do it for 5 minutes, then I know I can do it for a little bit longer. I just set mini like goals of like, hey, I just, gonna do this for 5 minutes. And sometimes that's all I can do. And then there's other times I'm like, whoa, 30 minutes. That was awesome. But it's become, essential for me. And then if I'm not on the golf cart, I'm including some sort of walk. It's either on the beach, just like going down the street, and usually listening to something audio wise or reading a book. And then the other thing is like, I'll just go to breakfast by myself and read a book and like have some tea or coffee.
Yeah, I think it's nice that sometimes, having that time to yourself, but it doesn't always have to be like that. If you want to include your partner, your spouse, sure, whatever, it's up to you, but just making that time to be deliberate for yourself. So if you choose to go to breakfast by yourself, that's nice. If you want to include Chelsea, that's also nice. I'm sure she
So I'm
appreciates that.
We're both huge introverts. So like we're both fans of like having each other's space for our morning routines and like doing our own thing. But we do the breakfast together. But actually doing it in the week is more like not. I would do it by myself for the most part. And just to create that space and have that solitude. For me, like I think, and again, you guys get to play with this. You guys get to look at like what's working. What do I enjoy? You don't do this because like someone told me I have to do this, so I got to do this. It's like, what is something you could do to create joy and good feelings early in your day? And for me, like the solitude is something that's not only something I enjoy, like I really need it because I'm an introvert, and my other fellow innies out there know exactly what I'm talking about. Where my
Is that what they're called?
Where my innies at?
Well, my morning routine has, obviously...
It's only 2.5 hours now.
Right, exactly. Well, at the beginning of the year, for the first half of the year, I was living in Berlin, and this is when my routine got a little out of hand, and it was 3 hours. But the one thing that has been a constant is this 14 minutes. And I actually don't know where the 14 minutes came from. I kind of randomly chose that.
But I love that you did that. I love that it's this like random number.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just kind of picked it out. But I set my phone to 14 minutes. So I set my timer to 14 minutes as soon as I wake up, and I just close my eyes and I do this visualization. And that is anything. I mean, for me, I really have one very clear thing, visualization that I go through, but it can also be something that I'm going through at that time. So if it's, we're going through a launch, then I know exactly how I feel. Not just that, I go into really in-depth things. So I can actually like smell what my house is going to look like. I know what the sound of like one day when I have kids, like what, that sounds a little creepy, but in my head, it doesn't in the mornings, but I know what that sound, what that's going to sound like, what's going to happen, what it's going to, what I'm going to smell. I'm going to smell coffee in the morning or something like that. So mine is very, very specific.
So why don't you, because you're telling us you're being specific, what is your 14-minute visualization?
Well, so one of them, the main one, is I'm like walking up my stairs and I walk around the corner and I have my partner, whoever that's going to be, cooking breakfast, and then I make myself coffee and I sit down outside on this amazing porch that overlooks the water, and I have to walk through this like amazing glass door, and then I sit there, I'm enjoying my coffee, my partner comes, brings me out, I have breakfast, and then I hear kids and I can like smell my coffee, hear my kids, and I know exactly like what my house looks like, the layout of it. There's like an island that he's cooking on, and goes a little bit more in depth.
Oh, well, that's like where the PG version stops. Is that what you're saying? Okay, this
I'm
way.
Like, edit. No.
Yeah.
This is where the fun parts are.
The adult version is $9.95. If you'd like us to continue, it's a paid version. Please submit
Insert your coins here.
Oh my gosh. I love it. And I've done so many visualizations where it's like, it's not just a visualization, it's like a visual story. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I remember, like, because I've been doing this stuff for so many years, and I did it when I was living at home. I did it when I was vacuuming gym floors, because I was a janitor at a gym. And I remember one visualization of just, I knew where I wanted to live next. I was living in my parents' house, but they have an extra unit on their property, which is like this amazing, 1-bedroom little place with an ocean view and a giant deck and its own entrance. And I was like, I want to live here. And I had to be able to afford it. And my parents are like, we're not giving this to you for free. And I just would visualize every day, every night, like where I'd park my car in that spot and walking up and just going in there. And I would just like put that on repeat. I lived there. I finally moved out. I was like, I don't want to live here anymore.
Next visualization.
Next visualization is so powerful. So what else? So that's 14 minutes. And that's like as soon as you get up.
That's like, I don't even leave my bed.
Wow.
Yep. So,
cause that's also, I've heard things too, I don't have any science to back this up today, but that like immediately, like right out of that dream state, like you wake up and like you're so much more receptive to suggestion.
Right.
And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there have been a few times where I just kind of like doze back off because I'm a little bit tired. But for the majority, 99% of the time, I'm really good about it. And then my alarm goes off or the little like timer goes off and I stop, and that's when I start my day. And so a lot of the things obviously, I'm kind of in a transitional period now. I have an apartment, so I can start my routines again.
There might be a man up there when you come.
Well, if all goes to plan, he's making me coffee. So
complete stranger.
Sorry. This is gonna get creepy. So anyone in San Francisco, available. But I have a gratitude journal. So I would write in my gratitude journal and just do like a page. So it was a small little purple, not even a binder, like a little notebook. And I would just write to fill a page. And
so what is like that sound? Is it like I am grateful for, I am thankful for, or is it just, are you just like saying words? So
I write at the top of the page, I am grateful for, and then I just start listing. And I always love when I did this exercise with like my community, I had them do it. And I was like, I want you to write 50 things. And I just want to hear 41 to 50, because those are the ones where you're kind of stretched a little bit. The first 25, first 30 are pretty easy, mom, dad, whatever, siblings. But when you actually get into it, those are the most powerful ones. And so I really...
Do you go to 50 or because you have like 50 lines on a page? Or I
mean, it's not even 50 lines, but yeah, I try to, I fill the page. So however long that page is.
Yeah.
And then if I'm able to see the sunrise at all, that is something that's really important to me. I love to see the sunrise. So in my new apartment, I don't know if I'll be able to see the sunrise, but...
You haven't yet since you've been in San Fran?
No, not yet. So that is something that is, if I lived in Laguna Beach, which is so beautiful, and the sunrises here are amazing. Sunrise, sunsets are some of my things.
It's really funny because, sunset is so like, it's an everyday thing.
And then anytime I come here, I'm like, wow.
Yeah, but I just don't see that many sunrises myself, especially because we got this big hill over. We have to get to that top of that hill to see it.
Oh, right.
We definitely see the sunset, and it's like unbelievable. We were recording another episode during the sunset tonight, and I kept looking out the window.
Yeah. One last thing that I do that I would really encourage anyone to do, and I had a friend, Sherry, who recommended that I do this, was like writing love letters to yourself, which sounds really ridiculous, but I started doing it in the morning, and it is really, really detailed. And so she had me do it for 30 days. And if that is anything that you guys are interested in, I would really recommend doing it. That is such a powerful exercise to really just get in touch with, who you are, what you're happy about yourself, which should be everything, or, trying to just really appreciate yourself. So that kind of goes to the gratitude journal, but takes it one step further to what you appreciate about yourself.
I love it.
So that was something I really loved to do, and I will continue.
Speaking of like doing things for like a finite amount of time, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they just change so much over time, and for me, the Berlin
you change over time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life,
right?
But
and you don't have to commit to that.
There was a book I read that is like probably the easiest read in terms of like length, and I just love it. I've read it now I think 20, 30 times, and it was profoundly life-changing. And we've done an episode talking about like your relationship with money. This book's called The Abundance Book. Have I talked to you about this book?
No, I don't think so.
I think you need to get this book. It's by John Randolph Price. And in it is a 40-day morning meditation where he gives you, I can't remember now. I've given this book to like so many people, but it's like a very small little quote or a couple of sentences. And then like, I think you meditate on that for the day, and then it's like 7 or something, or 10. I think it was 10, and then you do it. You like repeat it 4 times or something like that. I haven't done it in a while. Obviously, I'm trying to remember it, but really good book. I just absolutely loved it. If you're looking for something intentional, I mean, there's so many things out there.
So is it a quote, or it's just a word, or
no? Yeah, it's like it would be more of a quote, more of like a statement.
Okay.
It's not like a quote like you're good enough. Whatever. It's like a statement or like a couple of sentences or an idea, and you just read it and then just like sit with it. I really liked it. So we'll include that in the show notes for anybody who's curious. So here's what we want to do. We want to leave you guys with like almost like this buffet experience of picking and choosing your own morning routine, coming back to the fact that the only thing that we really care about is that you have a morning routine, and that it's something that is intentional, that you've created the space to start your day off right, that this is you time, me time. It's designed to set the tone, I believe. It's designed to create space between you and the external variables, factors, stimuli of your life. The things that cause you to go into reactive mode, that trigger you, that may upset you. And so obviously what you want is the antithesis. So the first things we're going to do is tell you what not to have in your morning routine. And some of these would be things like the Facebook or MySpace.
That might have been around back in the day.
This is an old podcast episode.
Exactly.
Email or text. Because people never talk about why. Like I was always like, but I love checking email because I can like check my sales, but you don't have control over these things. Like you don't have control necessarily about what's at the top of your inbox when you haven't checked it in 12 plus hours. So you could have an email at the top like, I want a refund. And like, that's the first thing you're checking in your day, or like, I hate you. And
how many of those emails are you getting?
Every minute of every day.
Well, I'm certainly not getting any of those,
but no, there are times that you're going to get triggered by something that someone says, or triggered in a way that it's just like, oh my gosh, I forgot I need to do this, and and it just like zaps you out of that. And yes, there's this whole like dopamine effect where we're like really addicted to these type of things. But if you can really practice like, no, like I'm not going to check these, and just checking Facebook and seeing, I mean, all I see on Facebook is like how much people are offended. Mm-hmm. That's Facebook. Is people are offended about what is going on in the world, what is going on in their industry, in their lives, and everything. So like when you look at that, you're either going to just laugh at them and say they're stupid, or you're going to get offended too. Like, it's one or the other. And both of those suck. So like, let's not start our day that way. Now, the other thing is, like, this is what I would suggest, but, you know, some people are like the total opposite of this, is like not having news, which, you know, now most people are just using Facebook for the news anyway, but not letting news be the first thing. Like, I grew up with my parents having the newspaper morning coffee first thing. And, you know, if it works, great. But again, the intention here with a morning routine is to create that space of enjoyment. So if you enjoy it, awesome. If you find yourself getting upset by the things that you read, it's time to reevaluate and question whether that's the best thing to include in your morning routine. Okay, like if you, oh my gosh, can you believe this? Like, what happened here with this person? And that just makes me so angry. Like, why is that in your morning routine?
And so is about to get elected. Like, this is crazy,
you know? I'm outraged.
Right.
Peace.
I had this
peace.
I had this happen to me a couple days ago, and I rolled over after my visualization and I checked my Facebook, and I saw an article and it just really upset me, but it got me the whole day. And the whole day I couldn't stop thinking about it. And it was not something, you know, well, that just taught me the lesson that I need to stop doing that. I really rarely actually check my Facebook until I try not to until after 9 o'clock. But, you know, at least I have a time set for myself.
Yeah.
So news, definitely a no.
Yes. And if you're going to jump into work because you have appointments, phone calls, coaching calls, anything like that, I would really challenge you to make sure that those calls or appointments, even like we do like morning meetings, you know, none of that stuff comes before or during your morning routine, that the morning routine comes before that, and it is just separate.
It's like a sacred time for you.
It really is. So what do you put into this sacred space, this sacred time for you? It's up to you. Here's some quick examples. First of all, going for a walk, whether it's by yourself, loved one, spouse, friend, whatever. But the thing is it should, you know, the reason I like by it myself, because like I don't have to do it on anyone else's time. I feel like doing it right now. I go and I do it. Next thing is meditation. Another one, reading. Now we could talk about what you read, right? Like I would recommend something that's inspiring, you know, an autobiography, a personal development book, a business book, a marketing book, or something like that. Not necessarily like, you know, some gruesome, like horrific thing you heard that you're reading in the news that morning, but whatever. The next thing is anything that's like, maybe you enjoy like a physical activity like yoga, a workout, or even just simple stretching. Now,
there's an article that I read once that was talking about how in the mornings you should really try to be a producer as opposed to a consumer. And so one of the things that we have added here to our little morning routine buffet is journaling. So gratitude journals, or just journaling about however you feel that morning, or something that's coming up for you.
That's good.
So that's, I like that. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorites.
Now, the other one is listening to your favorite podcast.
Hello.
So maybe it's good morning to some of you.
Exactly. You're doing it all right.
You're doing it all right.
Welcome.
If that's the case, you don't have to do anything else.
You're perfect.
You win. Oh my gosh. You know, drinking water or tea or coffee, like this is something we were talking about before, but my fiance gets just really intentional about just, you know, whether it's making tea or coffee in the morning, and that process becomes a part of her morning routine. It's not like I got to get my tea so that I can start my morning routine. It's like, no, that is part of it. Like sitting there and like steeping the tea bag and all that stuff, and like heating up the water, and just nothing else matters. Like that's it. That's what I'm doing right now in this moment, and I'm present to that. It's powerful.
I love that. In Berlin, I was doing this where I would like actually smell the coffee, because I love the smell of coffee. Mm-hmm. So actually just taking that extra couple minutes couple seconds really, to just smell the coffee as I was putting it into the coffee press.
Yeah. French press?
French press.
Oh, that's so nice.
I love that.
And then we mentioned earlier, Tony Robbins' Hour of Power. My fiance and I have done this together, where it's like, there's like visualizing or talking about your goals. There's a gratitude piece, and there's like a breathing exercise. It's really cool, and you can Google this or search it on YouTube. Tony Robbins or Anthony Robbins' Hour of Power. A couple other things, and this is of course what Tony does as well, is like what we call like a gratitude rampage, where you just, same with the journaling, same with what Phoebe mentioned, is like listing out, you know, whatever you're grateful for, and like feeling it. The point is to like feel the gratitude. Like feel what it really feels like to be grateful that you're freaking alive. And that's huge. We've talked about this before, of like the energy of and vibration of gratitude is like the energy and vibration of receiving and attracting.
And I think also I've heard from a couple of people that I know that don't write it out. They're not, that's just not how they do it. They draw it out, which I thought was kind of cool. I'm not an artist at all, so that would not work for me, but something to think about if you can't, if that's not your thing. The next one is to shower, which is something that I've also read is when you're in the shower, just to be very mindful of like the actual, getting in touch with like the water actually hitting your head. And then if you want to go one step further, it's like washing away all those things that, from last night or from yesterday, but just to like start your day really fresh and to visualize all of, your worries, fears, dreams, whatever's happened in the past, just like washing down the drain, which I really like. That's something I do.
Totally. Here's another one, making your bed.
That is not something I do.
Not going to happen.
That's not.
No, but I've heard great things, and we have. Well, Chelsea makes a bed, but that it like starts the day with like a clean slate and it's organized. And I know Shalene Johnson talks about this on her podcast actually about like first thing you do, make your bed. So give it a shot. These are all things to try. Another thing is like. Especially because like from a fitness and health standpoint, I've always heard like if you're like looking to lose weight and keep your metabolism up, you should probably eat something within the first 20 minutes of waking up. And so we wanted to put something on there about eating a healthy breakfast, and whether you make that yourself or go out, like I like to go out and, we have like little cafes in town and stuff. So these are just some of so many things that you can do with it really being about being intentional with the space you create around your morning routine. Now, we want to leave you with what I always suggest being like the first thing that you do after your morning routine is to have the item on your action list or to-do list that is in the important, not urgent quadrant. Be one of the first, if not the immediate first thing that you do.
And so why do you say that? Why is it not urgent?
Well, I know, this is in Stephen Covey's book. I think it's in both First Things First and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but he talks about the 4 quadrants of, I think it's like time management, and there's like important, not urgent and stuff like that, and urgent, not important. There's 4 of these quadrants. And so where it's about being more productive and managing your time more effectively. And so where people spend a lot of their time is in the urgent category, right? So everything's like, it's already on fire. Like, right. I got to solve this and we need it now. And like, it's like doing things last minute. And his argument is that the more time you spend in doing the things that are important, but not urgent, the more you remove the urgent things so that you're not as reactive in your business or in your life. So if you've just had this incredible morning routine, even if it was only 10 minutes and it just feels really good, we all know that it's probably sound advice that you should then start your day with something that is the most important thing that you can do that day to move your business forward, right? Don't do that super important thing that takes a lot of you at the end of the day. Let's do it first. But what if you also selected the thing that was super important, but it was in the not urgent category versus this is important and it's really urgent. I got to do it right now. And it's hard because like it's urgent because like time is a factor. I don't have enough time, right? But if you could be really intentional and practice that, I think you'd find that really powerful.
And is that just because you're so creative or you're just in such a good place after your morning routine? Is that why?
I think so, but it's also like really just also prioritizing.
Right.
Like where to start, what to do now. That's what I recommend. So to quickly recap for you guys, we're talking to you here today about creating your own morning routine and really make it your own, be intentional about it, and that this is about how you set the tone for your day based on how you want to feel and how you can bring those feelings and that sense of being into that morning routine, even if you only have 10, 15 minutes a day. We gave you examples of both my morning routine and Phoebe's as well, plus a whole buffet of things that we don't recommend you should do in your morning routine and things that we do recommend, but we don't want you to be limited to that. Anything that makes you feel creative, alive, at peace, full of joy, and full of gratitude is probably worth putting in your morning routine. And that's what we want to challenge you to do. So that concludes this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I'm James Wedmore.
I'm Phoebe Mroczek.
And we'll see you on the next one. Are you frustrated that no matter how hard you hustle, no matter how much you get done in a day, you still feel like you have little results to show for it? Do you feel like you're doing everything right, but there's still something missing? Well, what if there was an easier way? What if your business could be fun, effortless, and profitable? Phoebe and I have put together a free audio MP3 for you, compiling the 77 business affirmations for creating success from the inside out. And we want to give it to you absolutely free. This is your chance to rewire your brain for bigger results in your life and your business. To get instant access absolutely free, simply visit 77affirmations.com. That's the number 77affirmations.com.